Hi, welcome. Simon here and hope you're doing well. In this video, I'll walk you through step by step on how to do a screen replacement on an iPad mini 5th generation. If you're not sure what model this is, go ahead and take a look at the back of your iPad here. You can see that it says model A2133. So that would be the 5th generation, and let's get right into it. So the first thing I like to do is to turn off the iPad, shut it down, or powering off. Now, before I get into more details, let me briefly walk you through what are the things that you need. So you do need to have a heat gun to kind of heat up the broken iPad screen and remove it. The second, you need to have the double-sided adhesive tape. I'll be using this red adhesive double-sided tape to retape and glue the new glass back in. Now I know that the glass, this is a brand new screen, it comes with the pre-installed adhesive. However, this adhesive here, they are not sticky enough. At over time, maybe about a month or two, you will start seeing that the iPad would be separating away from the base, right? So you need to have a very good sticky adhesive to have the new screen being glued onto it permanently. Now the next step is safety first. You always need to have a safety goggle or safety glasses during this repair process. The reason behind of that is I do not want anybody to get injured, especially broken glass. When you start to use the prying tool to pry open the glass, some of those glass might fly into your eyes or your face, things like that. So make sure you always have safety first, protect yourself. Phillips screwdriver, a tweezer if it helps, whatever that is, and get right into it. Now there is a pro and con by fixing it yourself. Well, the pro is definitely cheaper compared to bringing down to Apple Store to get it done. The bad side of it is this brand new iPad screen, it requires some sort of soldering. So this one here is pretty much when you have the smart cover, when you close that covered case, the iPad would go to sleep, right? I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. Some of the cases is magnet on the side, so when you close the iPad cover case, the iPad will go to sleep. When you open it up, then the iPad LED light comes on. So this is the feature for that, I believe. Okay, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that is for that reason. Now we are not going to do the soldering, so that feature would not apply to the new screen, meaning that you would have to press the power to shut off or to put the iPad to sleep, or just put a timeout for like a minute and the iPad goes to sleep. All right, what we're going to do is we are going to transfer the home button, original home button, over to the new screen, so therefore that your finger touch ID would be recognized with the same iPad. All right, so let's begin. Let's get started. I have my safety goggle on and turning on the heat gun to heat up the broken screen. Depending on the crack, so my crack is pretty bad. You can see that all these tiny little cracks are all over the screen. So in this repair, it may take me some time, a longer time to do so. But if your crack is just like one line or just 2 or 3 lines without any small crack pieces like mine, then it's a lot easier for you because the screen are intact and it's easier to heat up and remove. But for my case, it is going to be a very challenging for me, but I'll do my best to get it done. Now when you buy the iPad screen replacement, if you notice that my new screen, it comes with the LCD, Retina LCD and the glass digitizer all together in one piece. They do sell a separate ones, meaning that just the digitizer itself, but you can reuse the original Apple Retina display. I find that very difficult to realign that display or to get it set it up correctly, and you do need to have a third-party equipment to to separate the original LCD and transfer to just the new digitizer, if that makes sense. So I'd rather buy the one that comes with everything and just install it. So I'm not worried about heating a little bit longer or worried about damaging the LCD. Again, I know that my LCD is working fine and it's working perfectly okay. However, I bought the new LCD that comes with it, so so it is, to me, I feel like I really want to heat up enough to pry open the broken glass to make my job easier, the repair easier. So we are changing out the LCD altogether, therefore I'm not cautiously heating it less, if that makes sense. Okay, see it right now, I'm trying to get into the broken glass. I'm having all these small little tiny glass are flying all over the table. So you always want to work clean environment, clean as you go. Okay, I've already see all these tiny little glasses. Scrape it here on the side and I put it into my trash can here. So while you're heating up the iPad, and sometimes that the adhesive get hardened, you can always come back and reheat it up again. So at this point, you just have to take your time and be very careful while you're heating up the screen. The same time while you're separating the broken glass. Safety always first, right? You do not want anything happen to yourself. So just be very careful. Do not rush on this process. You can always pause the video and come back and rewatch it again. Yeah, so as you can see, my iPad here has a lot of cracks, so therefore my separation of the broken glass is going to take a while. Yeah, so you can fast forward if you like, but you get my point here. Okay. Alright, at this point here, I'm just leave the screen at 90-degree angle. Get yourself a Phillips screwdriver. We are removing the screws here. Alright, once you have the two screws removed, what I'm doing is be very careful because the battery cable is right on underneath here. It is still attached to the bracket. Some of you might remove the bracket away from that battery connector, but my battery connector is still sticking onto the bracket, so do not pull that cable, just so you know. Okay, now be very careful. There's one cable right here, the second one, and the third. They are just like Lego. Once you snap it right up, then you can just remove it. Now you can just remove the entire screen by doing so. Okay, now I wanted to point out to you that the battery cable is underneath right there. You see that? That is the battery cable. So it is somewhat still intact with the bracket, so just leave it as is. I'll be very careful when you try not to break it. Okay, now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to come back here and clean out all these leftover pieces that is still on my iPad. So I'm going to shake it down, make sure that all the stuff is out. Clean my table once, twice, you know, a couple times as I go. Always have a good working environment. Now I need to come back and remove the home button. So we are not done with the old screen yet. Okay, at this point you like to come back and clean out the rest of the broken glass here. Okay, that looks pretty much it. I'll come back and inspect one more time, make sure everything is removed. So some of the broken glass are still intact. You need to make sure every single piece is removed before the new glass can sit onto it. Right, if you have a tiny piece, tiny little broken glass sitting on top of the iPad, when you put the new screen on top, it wouldn't sit flush or properly, right? So you need to make sure you clean everything. At the same time, if you see like dirt and dirty stuff, you know, like so, you can just come back and clean it up as well. All right, so there you go. Now I'm going to work on the home button. Again, we need to transfer this home button over. So the first thing I like to do is to separate this little plastic here. So if you can see, there's a plastic right here, a tape, not a plastic, they're taping down the flex cable, right? So kind of like digging in there. I'm just digging, and see if I can peel it off. All right, there you go. So I have that being peeled off. Now you want to flip that little safety clipper pin up. So I just flip it up at 90-degree angle. Now I can try to go underneath that flex cable. So try not to break the cable, because this is the only original button that you have for this specific iPad. Right, if you break that flex cable or destroy the home button, therefore your Touch ID wouldn't work. Now that's not end of the world, because of you just do not have the Touch ID. You still can replace with the third party home button. They do make them, and if you're not sure where to buy them, I'll link them in the description below. You can get it from either Amazon or eBay, right? You can replace with a third party. You will still get a working home button, but you just do not have the Touch ID on it. All right, so be very careful when you go into this part right here. And there you go. I just separated the flex cable away from the iPad. Now we still have a long way to go. There's a bottom one here. You gotta keep doing that. It is not quite done. If you're having some difficulties, what you can do is to come back and heat up the glass. So try to melt the adhesive a little bit. Try to soften that adhesive. There you go. If you have trouble, just heat up from the front to soften the adhesive. Then you can easily remove the flex cable. Now at this point, I wanted to tell you is that you look at the bracket, right? So this is the bracket, and underneath the bracket, if you see little white stuff, it's more like a epoxy glue to me. So we need to have that epoxy being removed, okay, so that we can get to the bracket. So we do need to have the epoxy in this repair to re-glue that home button bracket. I'm just heating up the home button, the epoxy, to remove the bracket. Alright, so that is the bracket for the home button, and just coming here to clean out the leftover adhesive that is still taping onto the bracket here. Just clean it up a little, and the broken glass is still here. Okay, so the bracket, I just want to make sure this is the right direction to reinstall it. I forget which direction. Okay, so you want to come back here and separate the home button. So there is a little white piece right here, like the leveler to lift up the home button, right? So you need to get under that white little piece, not the black one. The black one is the rubber. So get all the way to the white leveler and separate them. Okay, there you go. So the entire home button is transferable now to the new screen. Okay, we can now put the broken glass on the side. Come back and clean the table. Okay, let's work on the new screen. What I need to do is to transfer the home button back onto the new screen. What I like to do is I like to slide that connector in. So you need to flip the clipper open, right? This connector right here, you got to flip that clipper at 90 degrees, right? It's facing up, it's open. Now you want to slide that flex cable into the connector. So slide it to your left. Pushing it all the way in and closing it down. And after, you can just close that clipper back down, push it down. Okay, and then reposition that. Now we can realign. You do need to tuck it in a little bit, right? You got to push that flex cable in a little bit so that there's no extra cable sticking out of the iPad. All right, so that should do it, and the home button will sit right in the center. And you want to get a feel of it, right? You want to feel from the front. So have your finger on the other side, feeling if it's sitting flush or not. So at this point, it feels, yeah, sitting flush for me. Now here is where you want to put the adhesive tape or the glue back together. So the bracket should go something like this, right? And you want to feel the clicker, right? See if it clicks when you're gonna glue that bracket back down. To me, I feel like it is not sitting flush because the new screen, the hole seems to be very tight. I'm not able to sit it flush. Let me see what I can do. Maybe I might have to bend this one a little bit upwards. Okay. You just have to play along with it. Each iPad is different, right? Each repair is different. You need to find that little fine tune. This is all based on skill and experience if you have done it a lot. So in my case, I need to realign that home button here. Sorry, this is taking a long time. Like I said, each iPad is different, right? I cannot just you know, each manufacturer, they may have make the iPad slightly different. There's no quality control. So maybe I have some broken glass still, right, sitting along the white on that home button, so I just have to double check, run it through again, make sure everything is clean. Okay, much better. All right, so once I have that feeling of the clicking is perfectly good, do not forget to get yourself this super glue. I'm using this ultra gel. It's not a liquid, it's a gel, so I do not make a mess. And you just need to do a tiny little drop. All right, just a tiny little drop on that bracket. Because when you squeeze it in, that gel would get squeezed out, and you do not want that to squeeze all over the home button and get stuck, right? So just enough to hold it, but not too much to make a mess. All right, so realign them, make sure there's nothing on the glove. Come back before the glue is rest. You want to come back and feel that click. Hear the click? I hope you can hear the click. I'm feeling it good. The clicking is working how I like it. The button is in the right position, doesn't move. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold it a little bit longer, let the glue rest, and bond with the iPad. Once the glue is all sticky and dry, then that's it. We'll leave the screen as is, put it on the side here. We are done with that part. Now the next part is to get the red adhesive tape. Like I said, the pre-installed adhesive are not strong enough to hold it, so I like to buy a very sticky adhesive tape here, given that the iPad is used by mostly the kids, and you know how the kids are, they tend to use it really rough, so you do not want that new screen to fall off. So just go ahead and get yourself this tape here. You want to tape it all along the side of the screen, the very edge of the screen. So this adhesive tape is 2 millimeter, 2 mm. That's the size that I'm using right now. So there is a different thickness of it. I think the 3 millimeter might be a bit too thick. So I'm using the 2 millimeter, the 2 mm. And even so, with this 2 millimeter, sometimes I do feel like it is not sticky enough, just because the thickness of the adhesive is so little, right? So there's not much of a grip. Yeah, so there's not much of a grip. And if you have like room to double up the tape, and by all means you want to double up the tape to make it a lot more stronger in terms of sticking the iPad, right? All right, so the 2mm red adhesive tape is here. I think the 3mm is slightly too thick versus the 2mm is a bit thinner. All right, so there you have it. That is all set, done, and go. Now what I like to do now is to somewhat plug it in, make sure that the screen are working, and also the digitizer, the LCD screen, and whatnot. So they are kind of like Lego. If you want to snap it back in, you just simply by aligning the connector. You do not want to force it down. Do not want to press it so hard, because they are like Lego. Once you align them in the right position, you can just press it down and it would go, you know, click in easily. Should I remove the bracket? I think I should. Okay, so what I'm going to do is redo this process again. Let me separate the battery connector. Okay, there you go. The bracket, you need to slide it in. So with the battery connector in a way, I'm having some difficulty of sliding it in. Okay, sitting flush, everything sit flush. Let's turn on the iPad, press and hold the power button, and there you go, the iPad is powering up. I should be able to test the home button and all that thing. So let me just tilt it on the side a little bit. I do not want to have any pictures or anything being shown here. Looks good. So the sensor works. Let me try to move it all along the corner. All right, as you can see, I can move every single corner on the iPad, so that is good. So if I turn off the power, home button works. Home button works. Okay, so great. I think it's a success in this repair. Let me go ahead and slide this thing in. And have the two of the screw install. Okay, once you have done that process by installing the two screws, you want to come back here and start removing the double-sided tape, the plastic here. Okay, so let's recap. If you're not sure where to buy the tools and the replacement screen, go ahead and check in the description below. I do link them where you can direct you to either Amazon or eBay, where you can find a replacement screen for this iPad Mini 5. Okay, let's peel some of this, peel some of this. Okay, peel this one off. Now I'm gonna I am going to align the one in the top first. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to make sure you have the screen aligned properly on the top to match the front camera. Which I did not match it correctly, so I do see that my camera is hidden. Okay, come here. See that adhesive is trying to stick them together already. Oh, come on, please. I need to have the bracket. I think the bracket came off. Okay, so let me so the new screen does not come with this bracket right here, so let me go ahead and remove it from the old iPad screen. You just want to make sure you're able to see the lens. Okay, I think I was able to see the lens, but double check by going to the camera. Let me see if I can find the camera here. Switch it around. So it looks like I'm able to see myself with the full okay, I might have to readjust again a little bit. It seems a bit blurry to me. There might be a extra plastic or anything that is in between. So again, pretty much it is done at this point. It's just a little tweak and turn that you might want to pay close attention to. And you might have to have some kind of glue to reposition and re-glue this, the eye socket, the camera socket, right? And let's just do it. I was going to stop the video because I think the majority part of the thing has to be done is done. But it's all right. Let's just get going with it a little bit more. I don't think why not. So let's put a little glue right there, because the base on the bottom is a lot bigger. Hopefully that glue a little bit more. Press it down. Okay, that looks great. Let me see if I can realign them again without having a okay, it looks all right to me. I mean, the camera is a little bit on the top. I wonder if I can push it down a little bit more. Sorry, I'm quite picky with all this thing because with the with today's world, everybody do Zoom and FaceTime, right? So you're using the front face camera, and I just want to make sure that they have a good view of sight. In this reason, so I've got to readjust to the point that I like it. Okay, that looks much better. All right, so there you go. And let's go ahead and start peeling off the rest of the tape here. And we are all done. That's pretty much it. Sorry it took a while. I had a bit of a challenge with the front facing camera. Once you are able to solve that problem, we are very close to done by just retaping everything. Okay, at this point here, since you have watched the video all the way at the end of it, what I like to do is I like to tuck in that cable. If you see this little cable right here, sometimes they are too long, and if you clip it, it will clip on top of the iPad. It's hard for you to see, and this is where I like to tuck it in, right? So when you tuck it in, it stays hidden underneath, and you can just close it. All right, there you go. That's my little secret for you of staying all the way at the end of the video, and I hope this video is helpful for you. I know that it took like what, 45 minutes to replace the screen, but yeah, you get it. Looks great. I can see myself, and I hope that you like the video, and of course I hope that the video is helpful for you. We just replaced the iPad screen from start to the end, and something that I hope you can learn. And of course, you're interested to follow my video and get your iPad screen repaired or replaced, feel free to click on the link below. It will direct you to either Amazon or eBay, where you can find the screen replacement and follow along with this video as well. All right, do not forget, if you find the video is helpful, please give me a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. It means a lot to me. All right, thanks for watching. Until next time, bye now.